So long, and thanks for all the fish. Sea level rise in Oregon and Aruba. Sea level rise is the gradual increase in the height of ocean water levels. This phenomenon is primarily caused by the melting of polar ice caps and glaciers, as well as thermal expansion of seawater due to rising global temperatures. As sea levels rise, coastal areas are at risk of being inundated with water, leading to potential displacement of residents and destruction of coastal ecosystems. According to projections by the IPCC, global sea levels could rise by up to 3.6 feet by 2100, with higher levels not being ruled out. In Oregon, this could lead to the submergence of small islands in the Columbia River and parts of Sauvie Island. A sea level rise will create a profound shift in coastal flooding over the next 30 years by causing tide and storm surge heights to increase and reach further inland. By 2050, moderate, typically damaging, flooding is expected to occur, on average, more than 10 times as often as it does today, and can be intensified by local factors. Planning guides for projected yearly increases in sea level can help affected communities along the low-lying areas of coast like Astoria, Seaside and Cannon Beach. Current and future emissions matter. About 2 feet, 0.6 meters of sea level rise along the US coastline is increasingly likely between 2020 and 2100 because of emissions to date. By raising awareness and taking proactive measures to mitigate the effects of rising sea levels, we can work towards a more sustainable future for Oregon and Aruba.
Some reports state that if sea level continues to rise, the Dutch Caribbean islands would be affected, Aruba being one of them. In a post made by Alliance in 2016, they stated that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change project that if we continue with a low emission scenario, that by the end of the century, the Caribbean region will experience an increase in air temperature of 1.4 degrees Celsius, a decrease in rainfall of 5 to 6%, an increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, including a 66% increase in hurricane intensity, and a rise in sea level of 0.5 to 0.6 meters. These predictions would increase the damage to coral reefs and coastal ecosystems, such as mangroves, seagrass beds, salinas, and beaches. Furthermore, the social economical side of Aruba, such as the tourism, fisheries, and agriculture, would also be affected. In another report, they further confirmed these facts that in their research when they actually wanted to see what effects sea level rise would have on beach tourism in the Caribbean. They state that under a low CO2 emission, they predict an average of 53% loss in sandy beaches, which would result in a 30% hotel room loss and thus a 38% tourism revenue decrease by 2100. In contrast, if there was a higher emission scenario, sea level rise will cause 59 and 39% reduction in beach and hotel rooms, respectively. Sea level rise will also cause a 47% reduction in direct tourism revenue, which is only one aspect of beach erosion cost. Luckily, there is action being taken to combat this issue. G posted it recently in 2024 that the Stimson Center is collaborating with the government of Aruba and the National Climate Resilience Council to initiate a $310,000 USD investment in a comprehensive climate risk assessment for the island nation of Aruba. When completed, the roadmap will help Aruba build a more climate resilient and sustainable future for its citizens. And this is just one example of proper steps being taken to tackle the growing climate crisis for Aruba.